stage is yours.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's so nice to be here. I'm going to get right into it. My name is Leen. I'm the Director of Community at ATÖLYE, as Bengi mentioned. And for those of you who don't know, we are a community-powered design and innovation consultancy. So, community-powered. Today's theme is all about this word, which might sound a little fluffy or a little vague to some, especially as it's become quite a buzzword nowadays. But what does it really mean to be community powered? And that's what we're going to explore today. And the truth is, in our work, we've noticed that community powered has many different dimensions, many different meanings. It's an ever-changing term. And so today I wanted to explore three potential meanings or definitions of the word community powered. One is the next frontier of human-centered strategy and design. The second is community-powered might be a future-proof organization model. And third, community-powered might be a courageous protocol for fostering relationships at work. So what does that all mean? Let's start with the first one. So community-powered as the next frontier of human-centered strategy and design. In our work as a design and innovation consultancy, we really believe that the next era of business is going to be defined by organizations who invest in their communities to create sustainable impact in the world. And we're really seeing a clear shift in the approach from human-centered design to relational design. And the idea here is that placing relationships at the center of our work gives it a sustainable and lasting outcome. And actually, my colleague Mert will be covering relational design in more depth in a later talk today, so stick around to learn more about this approach. And we're also observing how a community-powered approach to design can help businesses shift from old paradigms to new ones. So we've all observed that the old paradigms that are at work today are no longer serving us, or no longer working. And we've observed that these shifts, and as we've worked with many leaders from a variety of industries, we've observed that these shifts, whether it be spaces or brands or organizations or products, are allowing our partners to future-proof their organizations and institutions, and that helps them curate, engage, and mobilize their own communities. So this is really what we think about when we think about community-powered as an approach to design as the next frontier. And in our work, we've really seen this across many, many different examples that I wanted to share a few with you today. So from building İmece, which is Turkey's leading social innovation platform, that since 2016 has been bringing together a multidisciplinary community for sustainable, innovative, and impact-focused projects, which you'll also be hearing more about in the Envision session later today. As well as mobilizing a teachers network platform that started off with 50 teachers and has scaled to over 25,000 teachers over the last 6 years. And, you know, I'm really looking forward to hearing more about this in the Envision session, where we'll dive deeper into what this community looks like and what the network's impact has been over the last few years. And another example of this is repurposing a heritage district in Qatar, where we were asked to transform the district into a culture and production hub called Al Najada. And the idea here was to catalyze Qatar's creative economy. And since its launch, Al Najada is now home to 12 really exciting Qatari creative establishments, and creating the seeds, or seeding a community, a creative community in Doha. We've also seen this in our project with Apple, where we've mobilized a local community of 200 creatives in Istanbul. This was over a 6-week program launch for the first flagship Apple store in Turkey. So really thinking about how brands can leverage their communities to, in this case, launch a new space, a new product, create brand recognition, brand equity by really mobilizing community around it. And of course, one of the most exciting recent examples being building our own sister startup, Neol, which is a decentralized community platform for creative leaders. And again, you'll hear a lot more about this from the founder and CEO, Kerem, later on today. And all of this work would not be possible had we not been building and running our own vibrant community-powered hubs in Istanbul and in Dubai. And in all of these examples, we've really taken and combined our skills of design-led strategy, architectural design, learning design, service design, and placed it at the heart of what we're calling community design. And in addition to community-powered being a new frontier of design and strategy, community-powered also refers to our own unique organizational model. And so if the first part was really about the food we put out, this part is about the kitchen, what happens behind the scenes. And for those of you who might not know, community has been at the heart of ATÖLYE since day one, before we even coined the term community-powered. And it all started with this idea that the traditional agency model was somewhat broken and that a new way of doing purpose-driven work was needed. And it started in a beta space in 2013 in Istanbul. And over the last 10 years, we're still living evidence, at least I think so, of the community-powered ethos, which has helped us not only survive in really tough times that we've seen over the years, but also thrive in this ever-changing landscape around us. And at the heart of this ecosystem is our core team of 60 full-timers, followed by a curated community of around 250 members. These are members who come from very different disciplines. They're creative professionals, they're thought leaders, they're subject matter experts. And around that, in the outer ring, is our network, which includes our global network of 20Q collective companies, as well as our clients, our partners. And as you see here, the layered ecosystem that makes up ATÖLYE is really the pulse of our community-powered model. And it really got us thinking, what is it about this model that we might be able to codify and turn into something that others might use as well? And so that brings me to the community-powered organizational model. So this is something that we've been exploring and trying to codify things that we've been observing in our own model for years. And essentially, what a community-powered organizational model is one that invests in nurturing a community from the inside out. And what that does is it ultimately influences how we work, the way we tell our story to the world, the way we recruit talent and work with collaborators, and the way we harness a sense of true belonging. And I'm going to walk you through a few of these different elements that we've identified as a core part of the community-powered organizational model with a few examples. And so in this model, we're able to find and work with the best talent from our community while still allowing people to flow in and out of the system fluidly. And so by investing in the relationships that we have with our members as the community team, as the engagement team, we build a sense of trust and belonging without being restrictive. And my favorite example of this is Carla, who joined as a community member in Istanbul in 2016 and collaborated on some key client projects before joining full-time. And today, Carla is our beloved design director at ATÖLYE, leading practices and portfolios across the organization. It's such a key influence in our ecosystem. Or Emre, who was instrumental in building out the ATÖLYE Creative Hub in Istanbul, and last year decided to go independent and start his own company, who we still collaborate with regularly. And with that easy access to talent, almost every ATÖLYE project team is made up of full-timers and members, which allows us to collaborate on scopes outside of our disciplines and geographies. So you might see Josine, who's a community member we collaborated with in Amsterdam, who brought her priceless local expertise in community building to the table. Or a recent example of our members in Dubai, Ali and Nadine, who came together for a workshop around sustainability. We brought in Nadine as a sustainability expert and Ali as a consultant, and together dreamt up this sustainability hub for a client. And being community powered also means doing marketing differently. So we don't have huge marketing budgets. We do things differently at ATÖLYE. Our community, our engagement, our community communications teams work really closely together to develop thought leadership and events and programming in collaboration with our members. So leveraging the power of the community to tell impactful stories about our organization and the work that we do. And so, you know, here we have Maha, we have Gareth and Natalie from our Dubai hub giving a beautiful talk about the future of work, which is one of our key themes at ATÖLYE. They also become brand ambassadors for the organization. And here we have Renda, another member in our Dubai hub, who hosted and collaborated on the facilitation jams with ATÖLYE Academy. And last but not least, being community powered also allows us to create a dynamic work culture with a constant flow of new people, new perspectives, new ideas. And this could look like involving community members in our quarterly team gatherings, or getting together regularly around special occasions, and really harnessing a culture of intertwinedness. That's a word. And lastly, if there's anything we've learned from both our work helping others become more community powered and our own model as a community powered organization, it's that community powered is a new and arguably unconventional way of doing business. So thinking about collaboration over competition, thinking about how we go into new markets, how we develop relationships with our clients. These are all potentially a new way of showing up in the world as a community powered business. And the way that we've seen this is through our relationships with our clients. So this is changing the old school way of doing business and influencing how we build relationships with new and old clients. And a great example of this is gathering clients together in one space under in our hub for our Wicked dinners, really putting out all the Wicked challenges that collectively we're working on in order to try and solve together, something that, you know, not a lot of organizations may do. Or recently when we invited 30 of our clients in Dubai for a training with Chaos Pilot for creative leadership training, and really trying to bring different voices in the room so that we can bridge the ties between individuals who might otherwise not connect to one another. It's also the way that we build relationships with the public. So how do we bring in our communities, that outer network that I showed earlier, to help us co-design the solutions that we're after? So whether it's our sustainability jam that we organized, where 50 people from the sustainability community in Dubai came together to explore possible solutions for food waste, gathering insights and knowledge and know-how, or whether it's gathering people for crisis. So we, like we did in this gathering of over 100 people and 65 organizations for in our Istanbul hub, which Melissa and a few others will be sharing more about in a later session. And so this is, all about designing with community and the way we engage community for impact. And lastly, it's also how we show up in the world with our partners. So whether that's existing partners and collaborators, such as how we work with other like-minded organizations like SYP or IDEO or others in the Q Collective or beyond, that collaborative spirit of how we come together as different organizations who in other scenarios you might see as competitors, but through valuing collaboration, becomes a porous way to connect with one another and really create exponential impact. And even the way we engage with new potential partners in new markets. So this is an image from a gathering in Amsterdam where we were exploring a new hub, where we gathered potential future partners together in a room to learn more about the local scene and learn more about how we can work together. So I'd like to end here with a little recap of what does community-powered really mean. At ATÖLYE, we're continuing to explore this term. We think it's ever-changing. We think the term itself should be community-powered and should be generated by the community. But for now, we're exploring these three definitions or possible definitions. So how can community-powered be the next frontier of design, how we solve problems? How can community-powered be a future organizational model that challenges old paradigms? How can community-powered be a new way of fostering relationships at work and beyond work, ultimately? And these are the questions that we've been asking ourselves as part of the Community Lab, which we recently launched to explore some of these questions around how do we actually build community, active and engaged communities for lasting impact. And I leave you with this question: what does community-powered mean to you? I'd love to hear your thoughts, and thank you for listening today.